7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi. Whoa, Pete, you look different.
Don't I?
Yeah. And wait a minute, you don't have the New York accent either. What the hell?
Oh no.
There we
the
go. Turn my
glasses
lights
are
on.
similar. The rest is just different. Sorry.
So everybody, welcome to Interfleet Broadcasting. We are the 70s, 80s, 90s pop culture. We love all the cool older videos and movies and videos. I'm really actually dating myself when you say, hey, I said DVDs the other day. I was like, oh boy. Yeah, that wasn't good. That's almost as bad as CDs. And my computer doesn't even have a DVD player anymore. So we broadcast every Thursday, and we usually bring you authors and all sorts of cool people, and people like Bert, who is now filling in for Pete, which is amazing. And award-winning authors and video people, and we love to get the people behind the scenes and from the cameras, and don't always need the people in front of the cameras. You know the artists and everything, the artists and the editors and everybody that's behind the scenes really do make the fandom, while the actors are in front and they create the character for you. So welcome. Looks like we've got quite a few people out there. I'm looking at Kim's and Gary and Charlene's on. Okay, cool. And Lola, her name was Lola. She was a showgirl. Looks like we've got quite a few. So welcome. And tonight we have special guests. So, Mr. Boehmer, why don't you tell everybody about yourself for those people who have not tuned in before and don't know how amazing you really are?
Oh well, I don't know. That would be a short show then, but let's just talk about the general stuff. So yeah, I'm not New York Pete, as Chris already said. I have inherited New York Pete's curse of the occasional frozen video, though. So I was just out for 5 seconds. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be on and off today. So I'll just keep talking, and then occasionally, if everything else freezes, then I might stop as well. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I've been a fan of the channel for quite some time now. I've been on the channel as the interviewee. Today, I'm really excited to be the guy who actually asked the questions. So looking forward to chat with our special guest.
That's right. And not only that, we have John on tonight, too. So we have got just about everybody. So let me bring everybody up on camera for our normal toast. So here we all are. And we got John, and we've got everybody. All right. So tonight, we always do a toast to the fans. And we get right into the beer, as Mr. Boehmer had mentioned earlier. We were talking about how the first thing we did was just started jumping into beer and everything. So anyways, so what do you have tonight, Mr. Boehmer? What are you drinking?
So, the Germans drink beer here and then, so I figured we'll just start with where every story should start, at the beginning. So I brought a beer from the oldest continuously working and operational German brewery, Weinstefan. It has been, and I don't know why they show this.
Yep. And it's going to be an interesting night.
Small.
There we go.
They've been operational since the year 1040.
Wow.
So in 16 years, they have their corporate millennial coming up. And I thought that was cool. So tonight I'll have one of their products.
That's amazing. And I couldn't spell it, much less drink it. So
that's a very good beer. I drank that when I was stationed in Germany.
It's easier to drink than to spell, for sure.
And John, what do you got tonight?
I have something from Sand City Brewery out in Northport, right by me, called Dracarys. A little take on the Game of Thrones there. You know, she's on the dragon, and it's
a pretty
a
can.
Belgian style fruited ale with made with blueberries and raspberry.
Oh.
See, this way
You
you
said
don't read
this
the
like
product.
it was a surprise. You didn't
Yeah.
see it on the can.
You bought it for the label, didn't you?
I wasn't looking all the way. I thought it was cool. I said I just did Belgian ale. I didn't read the fine print.
Bought it for the
Kevin-
label.
Kevin
That'll get you
Blair.
every time.
I'm gonna make some face on this thing. I don't know.
And then we
Whatever, I'll try.
Yep. And then we have our other guest tonight. We have Luca. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Outstanding. And what are you drinking tonight?
Wonderful. Well, I'm on call, so I can't be drinking alcohol. So I am drinking a poppy. It comes from the ancient company of poppy, started 1 year ago. Probably. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
So that's a fresh
Probiotic,
poppy.
adaptogens, all the things that make it wonderful.
There you go. And let's see.
Very
And I'm
cool.
last
So
but
we
not
have
least.
the full bandwidth from the ancient to the basically startup. Just found it. Excellent.
Yes, exactly.
And I just went to down the street, or actually across the street from my area. I have a brewery, and it's called Brew Republic. And this is and you definitely know it's one of those weird breweries because they write it on the can itself. It's called
With
Gambrius. It is like 13% alcohol. So this ought to be a really interesting drink, and it's really thick, probably too. But
like
Brew
syrup.
Republic beer here in Woodbridge, Virginia, brewed and packaged in Virginia. So we'll pour those out tonight. All right, let me get everybody else on camera so we can get our toast going. Well, I'm gonna have to set this up a little. That's 3, 4. There's 5. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody, you ready? We're gonna go ahead and open those up. 1, 2. We're gonna make the audience deaf. 3. And shall we pour? That's what it looks like. Oh, this is dark.
Ooh.
This is like caramel.
It looks like syrup.
Yep. There we go. This is a barley wine. Was that beer or not? Didn't get a good head on it, thank goodness. Yeah, that's kind of a. Oh, that's perfect head over there. Yep. See. And
I know what I'm doing.
And John's got a little bit too much there. All right. So, anyways, thanks again. We really appreciate it. We really believe this statement when we say it because it is the fans that fuel the fleet. So we always toast to you. So here's to you. Fans fuel the fleet.
Fans fuel the fleet. Cheers.
Fans to the fleet.
Whoa. That's strong.
This is rich. If you're trying to lose weight, this is not your beer.
This one's
Otherwise, very good.
This one tastes almost as thick as bad. It's almost got the sting to it like rum. I mean, it's like 13%. So 13% is what, 26 proof? Ooh, geez, that's a lot.
It's a powerful beer.
That's
You should have beer.
woo, it's getting hot in here. Oh my gosh, it's getting hot in here. So
Barley wine is.
oh, that's strong. That'll be a sipping beer tonight, that's for sure. If I finish that off too early, I'll be slurring my words. I'll be stuttering as bad as Bert. I'll just be, and then this. All right. So we will catch back up with you here in a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and get a couple of things taken care of, and John's going to give us a update on the world out as we know it of the news. I would play your song, but I cannot find it tonight, so we'll have to make it up next time. All right, John. I think I have you set up here. Let me find you. There you are there.
Yeah, don't make me sing for John with the choppy video. It's gonna be terrible anyway, but then doubly so.
Yep. Let's see here, John. We got your pictures, and you are almost set. I got these late, so I'll use that as an excuse.
All right.
All right. There you go. Thank you. I was going to fix you, but you fixed it. Yeah, here he is, John, with the news.
Hello, everybody. Things are heating up this August with some new releases. First up, well, that's Trap.
Yeah, well, you, whatever you say, I'll set it up. I've got them in a folder.
So first up is Borderlands. That's out in theaters August 9th. This sci-fi romp is about a woman who returns to her home planet, gets together with a group of unlikely heroes, and who looks for a girl with unimaginable power while battling bandits and alien monsters. It's directed by Eli Roth, the guy from all the horror movies and stuff. The trailers are hilarious. Looks like a good fun time. And it's coming out in theaters August 9th, which is pretty good. So look for that. And that stars Kate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black are among a few of the stars in the film.
Jack Black?
Jack Black.
Oh, Lord.
He plays a robot there. So. And Jamie Lee Curtis in it, too.
Wow, there's somebody I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan is back with his newest movie, Trap. It's about a father and daughter who are trapped in a pop concert.
Huh?
I'm scared already.
How do you get trapped in a...
That turns into a dark and sinister event. So Josh Hartnett plays like a serial killer who realizes that he's in a trap by police because he was at concerts, he police around, and they got to catch him. So, what's it going to be? The catch?
And John's dropped. Did everybody drop? Oh, John. There you go. You're back.
Here we go.
You got to get off wireless, but you got to go wired.
So Josh Hartnett plays a serial killer who realizes he's in a trap by police to catch him. So what's going to be the catch? He gets killed by another serial killer they're actually looking for. So we'll see. We'll tell it's released on cable. Finally, aliens will be bursting out of chests and into theaters when Alien Romulus lands in theaters August 8th. Romulus is set between Alien and Aliens, so this movie will feel like the original, Alien. It's about a group of scavengers that start to scrap a derelict spaceship till they find something. Not good. It's going to be a wonderful day. I was glad to see these aliens going back to its roots. So it looks pretty scary. I saw a trailer today when I saw Deadpool, which is a pretty good movie. I didn't like the beginning scene, but I'm a big Wolverine fan. But the trailer, so it's pretty scary. So people are jumping in their seat. So that's going to be good. And it's going to be a wonderful day when Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes will air on Hulu tomorrow, August 2nd.
Yes.
If you didn't see the movie theaters, it's coming out tomorrow. That's be good.
I gotta see that one. I loved all the Planet of the Apes ones.
Mm-hmm.
This is the newest one. It came out a couple months ago, but I didn't see it, so now it's coming on Hulu, so I'll see it tomorrow. Waited.
It's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Hulu now. Damn it! I got about every darn one except Hulu.
I think Hulu's worked with Disney Channel, so this might be on Disney too. So I'm not that sure.
Really? I got Disney.
Yeah, they have the package, so maybe they'll do the same thing.
I
got them all too. The 5th season adult animated show Solar Opposites will premiere on Hulu August 12th. I just started watching this, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, never heard of this one.
Oh, it's an adult animation. It's very adult. It's on Hulu too. And that's on August 12th. Batman is back in a new animated series on Amazon. Batman Cape Crusader, which starts today, tells a tightly focused, slightly more mature story of Bruce Wayne and his alter ego. I was watching that today at my son's, and it's a pretty adult comic. I mean, it's not like the regular cartoon shows you're used to. Some pretty graphic scenes.
Wow.
I can say the Penguin is a woman, and she puts like a rat in a trunk and throws him overboard. It's just like, ooh, that's a pretty good series. Pretty graphic. It's not like the regular one, but that's pretty good. Check that out on Amazon.
They do call it a graphic novel, Well,
it's a kind of cartoon show, which is good. I like those cartoon shows. So, that's good. So let's say one day IFB will touch down there at San Diego Comic-Con. One day we'll get there, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And you get all the good stuff's coming out of San Diego. Into all those great panels and see the cool trailers that are on YouTube now. Star Trek will have a busy year again. Strange New Worlds is coming out early 2025, hopefully maybe November or February. Lower Decks is out this October 24th, and Section 31, the movie with Michelle Yeoh, is coming out next year too. So hopefully that's going to be at the end of the year or in the beginning, so we can see it's all done, ready to go. And if that movie's good, maybe we'll see it as a series. So much to look for. It seems that we know who will play Dr. Doom. It's Robert Downey Jr. I know he was Iron Man. Something's amiss. I was hoping to be Giancarlo Esposito, but we all know it would be a great Doom. I think he'd be a great Dr. Doom, but he's somebody else. But he's in Captain America: Brave New World, playing Sidewinder. Yeah, we all know who he is if you read the comics. And he just confirmed it at San Diego Comic-Con that he's going to be playing Sidewinder.
Oh, wow. He looks... somebody did it, I don't know, somebody did it on one of the Battlestar channels, put him next to Baltar in his green clothing. It looked just like it.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what it reminded me of. It's like, this scene looks so familiar. And it was from just like last week, and it hasn't really gone through the full meme mill just yet. But now I know. Thanks, Tipsy.
It wasn't me. Somebody else caught it and then put it on the site. I was like, wow, that's great.
Wow.
That's it.
True. So I don't know. Maybe it's going to be like some kind of Secret Wars thing where, Tony Stark plays Dr. Doom and suddenly goes back to his original self. I don't know, because the Kang thing went down south after the After got in trouble, so they got to redo all that storyline.
Yeah. So
maybe Robert Jr. will be Iron Man again. We'll see. But kind of hard to see him as Iron Man. I mean, Dr. Doom. I mean, it's hard for me to see it, but who knows? Maybe he'll surprise me.
With the mask on, you won't tell.
Nah, maybe, I'll get surprised. that fan in me, that ultra conservative fan, but hopefully I'll see him. Maybe he'll do a good job. And so I guess Secret Service, maybe he'll be back. So we'll see. But other news. If you like card games. Magic the Gathering will do a crossover with Monty Python's Holy Grail out this month. And we had some sad news. Peacock announced that its Battlestar Galactica reboot was just scrapped.
Yeah.
So 5 years of planning and renting and hoping, wishing for it.
They scrapped it. And the funny thing was the day before Ron Moore was speaking about Battlestar Galactica and how it it was relevant for today's times and everything else, and then the next day they dropped it.
These articles came out back to back, and I actually read them in the wrong order. So I read it's canceled first, and then I scrolled down to the one where it said, "Oh, it's still relevant," and confused me a little bit. But yeah, sad news. This is not good.
Yeah.
But it's up to those fans, the fan writer, the fansing guys, us at the cons to bring it back and keep it going. We still don't lose hope, guys. We still have a movie coming out. I think they're still working on a movie, and
we still got our movie to work on, and now that maybe they'll loosen up on the IP a little bit. We had been talking about possibly getting a hold of the IP for books.
Oh,
that'd be
books,
start writing some books,
and just start writing something. Maybe get an animated series on it. And
It could open opportunities, but it's. I still felt sad because it has been so long on the back burner, and then you always had good excuses like, "Oh, there was the pandemic, so they couldn't really progress," and then there was this, and there was that, and to finally, I guess everybody had a bad feeling about it, right? But when you read, "Oh, it's off," but
if I remember correctly, it's the reboot show is off. The movie with Kinsberg, the movie that Kinsberg was going to try to recreate the old one, has not been totally smashed, from what I understand. And that's Universal, if I remember correctly. So Universal still owns the movie rights, whereas the other company owned the newer one.
What was it? Paramount,
the newer one.
And Tipsy, you talked about dating yourself by mentioning the DVD acronym. So my first contact with Battlestar Galactica back in Germany was through VHS tape. They didn't they didn't air it until probably the late 70s or maybe even early 80s. So in 78 they had the movie cut version, like the one that was cut together from the first 3 or 4 episodes, I believe.
I have those.
And that's what they had. And my parents had just gotten a brand new VCR, first I've ever seen, and I played around with it. And the first thing I ever recorded was Battlestar Galactica. And I watched this tape until it physically deteriorated. There was no magnetic surface on the tape left. It had trouble rewinding. It was really a broken tape.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were talking about the other one. So yes, where's Tom DeSanto? Where are you? Charlene says. So yeah, the DeSanto was another one that was trashed that a lot of people don't realize it was ready to go.
They were doing a Magic the Gathering on Netflix, and based off that lore, and I think that got scrapped too just recently. It was sad. I was excited about that.
They have the Monty Python though.
Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, Fallout was great. So was Assassin's Creed. They're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's getting pretty popular. They're doing a couple of crossovers too. I think the third or fifth crossover they're doing with Magic. So
I think I have every Lord of the Rings Magic card there is. They did a good job with that too.
You got anything else there, John?
That's it. That's it, guys. I just wanted to
these must have been from last time. Then I got some extras in here somewhere. We got those. Those were last time. Never mind. I have pictures. These are old pictures. That one.
Yeah, Brawl Academy's coming out the 8th, I think. It's coming out next week.
Yep. And we had that one.
He was at San Diego Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con. Yep. And I saw these actually go up for sale the other day. On Crooked Dice. So you can actually order them now. I'm waiting for the Cylons to come out. I want the Cylons. And maybe...
Yeah, of course.
Maybe Athena, they make a nice Athena one.
Is this going to go towards a game? I think.
I don't know. You would think so. I mean, it looks like it goes towards a game, but I don't know any games.
What's the Star Wars RPG? There is one out. I just can't name it.
Yeah, this one's Fugitive Fleet Heroes. I don't know what the, and they won't even call them Battlestar.
They can because the trademark. They actually have other ones like Kroll is there.
Yeah.
They have Doctor Who, a couple other ones. It's like, wait a minute, I know what this is.
Yeah, they have the dog from Doctor Who. Robot Dog is all it's called.
And they won't call him Canine. Canine.
But I mean, Canine's universal. You could call something Canine.
I guess because they're trademark. I don't know. I guess they don't call it the way it is.
I got that one there. Yeah.
So,
Robot Dog, coming soon. Robot Dog.
You got to order some paint.
I can't paint. If it's all one color, I can spray paint the hell out of it. That's about it, though.
Just dip it in.
Be dipped, and that's it. I can't do it any other way. It's just not happening.
So, John, you had Borderlands mentioned earlier. I think it was the very first of your segment. So, another one based on an action game.
Into the video game, yeah.
Yeah, based on a video game.
It was,
I'd say I liked the game a lot. I played them. I didn't really play them for the story, to be honest. I thought the story was a bit thin, so we'll see how they convert it. Halo had a lot more lore
Halo
in the background.
I think they really did a disservice on Halo. I mean, Halo, I thought that show was good, but everybody pooed on it.
Oh, they could have.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And it got canceled, so they're not going to go into the third season. So there's more sad news there. I think some people celebrated and it's like, yeah, this was crap from the get go.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who wasted probably 40% of their life by playing video games, I think I'm qualified to chime in on Halo because I played the whole franchise myself with friends, co-op, PvP, and the biggest gripe people had was like, oh, it's nothing like the game, which was true for some storylines where there were liberties taken, right? So some stuff was not exactly like in the game, and that they took so long to actually get to the freaking Halo, right? The namesake structure, that it took them to the end of season 2 was not clever. That should have been done earlier. However, like the opening scenes of episode 1, I mean, down to the sound of the weapons, it really felt like Spartans fighting the aliens, and it was pretty much like a game level too, because all the civilians died, which they always did when we played, and it felt very gamey. So I never quite got the harsh criticism. So I'll miss the show. I might be one of the few.
Yeah. Looks like we have Lola is still on. Baz came on. Hey Baz, just show you. Yes, I got it, Baz. I don't know if you saw it last week, but here it is. I have the Baz supporter coin, and hopefully you'll get the that big old trailer built for your life-size Viper over there in Australia. I can't believe you actually built the entire Viper in your garage, and if you ever get a chance, Luke, you gotta check it out. It's amazing. He's done such a great job, and I mean, he did it all. A lot of it was scrap stuff. He got, and it's pretty amazing. He's got a great story behind it. We need to get him back on again and talk.
And the garage seemed to be exactly Viper sized, right?
I believe he built the garage. I believe he built the garage to make it fit. Yep.
Yes, it's a Viper sized garage.
Yeah.
Now there's no way to get it out, but it's built. Just
inside. Oh yeah. He's got it. He's getting ready to get it out. He's building a. Now he sold these coins so he could build the trailer for it, and he does everything. I mean, he makes his own knives and everything. It's just quite an amazing person, and he is a big time astronomer, like someone else I know. He's big into the astronomy. He actually had his own telescope dome and everything. He talks about it.
Wow.
So.
I just want to see a video of him actually taking out of the garage, because I'm looking at the garage.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be. He needs to do that live. I don't know if he's got the bandwidth for that, but he needs to go live with that. We need to do a special. Baz,
disassemble the garage.
Baz, get with us the day you pull that out to put it on the trailer. Let's go live with that. I'd love to be able to do that. Of course, our live and your live are two different things. So that's like our live maybe 2:00 in the morning, where you're in the afternoon there. So. Yep, he says, Baz says, yep, I built the garage for the Viper.
Confirmed.
Yeah. Confirmed. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, so, while we're doing some other kind of news stuff, did you see, somebody did a great, once again, I don't want to ruffle feathers religiously wise or anything else, but someone did a great thing about the Olympics and the picture at the Olympics that they were showing. And somebody had stated, now they're making fun of Battlestar. I'm not watching the Olympics because the Battlestar did the Last Supper type photo.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Yep.
But
the meme wars are really strong on the opening ceremony, and some stuff is where you're like, yes, a bit stupid. Come on, guys. But there's a lot of really fun stuff too.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched any of the Olympics yet. I haven't had time to.
Have you watched the whole opening ceremony?
I haven't seen any of it. I've just seen the controversies.
Okay. I watched it, and I had my expectations were not that after the ceremony I really wanted to play Assassin's Creed, and I didn't expect that from the opening ceremony.
Which one?
The Torch Runner initially is like, this is like Assassin's Creed Unity. I've played this game, and it was so well done. It was so cool. I loved it.
That's one of my favorite games, though, is Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Oh, Black Flag, yeah.
Black Flag was amazing.
Another classic. Well, Unity was not well received initially because it was basically one big bug fest. If you played it again a few years later, it has actually come together very nicely. In the, of course, the Notre Dame Cathedral is one of the big items in the game that you can climb on and run through. In the data they took for the game was actually so good that when the cathedral had this huge fire and burned down a couple of years, I think 5 years ago, and now they're using
data from that video. Oh, there we go. Using data from the actual game to put the thing back together.
Yeah. because
That's
they had really good data from the interior, and it's some of the best that they have for the reconstructive effort. So, yep, video gaming, man, it's
That's
good
cool.
for everything.
Makes the world a better place.
Oh yeah.
Indeed, just to that.
Unless you're a rager and you can't play a certain game anymore. So I hear.
Oh, that's the problem. Okay.
So they're going to just do that to you.
Yep.
And I learned not to swim in the Seine River either, because all those guys in the triathlon that was swimming in it, I'm like, that doesn't look good. And they're all sick. They all got kidney infections.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No way.
They put $1.5 billion worth in cleanup effort in. It still looked very brown, the water. Didn't it?
Just pour some blue dye in it. It'll make it better.
The green dye works in Boston. I mean, why not?
Right.
Right. It does work every year, so why not?
Like, no, the water's blue.
Yeah.
Can't you see it's blue? He dyed it.
Yeah. Baz got back with us. He says, obviously I'm an idiot with no idea what I'm doing, Gibbs. Who would have thought that a 2.4 meter wide ship would fit out of a 4 meter door? Do you see how that sounds? It fits. He just said he takes it apart, it'll fit. Takes the wings off. He says it fits. But yeah, it reminds me of Gibbs in NCIS where he had to break the wall down to get the boat out. Awesome.
So yeah, Olympics are pretty good. Some good
I haven't watched a single one of them.
Yeah.
It's a Summer Olympics, right?
So you guys do a lot of conventions. I learned that early on when I first started watching the channel. What happened was Comic-Con just too hard to get tickets?
Yeah,
or...
it's like winning the lottery to get to the. We've tried multiple years now to get to San Diego. I mean, we've been able to get to New York Comic-Con a couple of times now, which is fine.
Yep.
But that was a little tough to get into as well. But San Diego, no, it's not. It's like a lottery. You literally have to have. Yep.
The Salt Lake Comic-Con.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't. How big is that one?
It's big. They fill the entire Salt Palace. I think it's like 25,000 people.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
That rivals a Dragon Con there.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to
like
LA
50.
this year.
Pete's going to LA. You're gonna meet up with him, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna meet him there. And although I'm local, I've also never been, for same reasons, like you just outlined. You just can't really get tickets. It's really unbecoming of a parent to be jealous of your child, but our oldest teen, she knows someone through school whose dad is on the organizing committee.
Oh my gosh.
She always has not just a ticket, but a really good one where you can go backstage during
VIP
the
tickets
parade and stuff like that. And I'm a really big Star Wars fan, and now she has met Mark Hamill twice, and I haven't. So yeah, I'm definitely jealous.
It's okay to be jealous.
And when she was younger, she had all these stories about, and sometimes she didn't know who she was meeting. So there was this really friendly guest judge behind the scenes, and we're like, oh, who was it? Can you describe him? And she described him. It was like, this was Samuel L. Jackson. You met Samuel L. Jackson, and I didn't. And yes, I'm jealous.
Who? I don't know who he was. He's a nice guy though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he used clean language with the kids, so he didn't pull his usual style.
It's like me. I go to Dragon Con every year. Yeah, my daughter knows. Yeah, I go to Dragon Con every year, and the joke is, I don't know any of these anime characters, and she's like naming them off all the time. So my joke is, look, Sailor Moon. Look, Sailor Moon. Look, another Sailor Moon. That Sailor Moon's dressed up kind of funny. She says, stop it. They're not Sailor Moon. That's Unki Usin or Ursin, whatever, from Amdi Abi, whatever. And I'm like, what? I don't know what the hell that is. It's Sailor Moon. I'm going to call it Sailor Moon. So she bought me a Sailor Moon thing I had to wear around because I kept saying, that's what Sailor Moon looks like. Like we go every year, and it's just there's a ton of anime now at most of these conventions. I'm aging out. I've got some of the people I go there and I know, it's like Gil Gerard. Hey, cool. As Buck Rogers, I can do that one. And this year it's a bunch of Star Wars characters that are going to be there, and a bunch of Strange New Worlds is going to be at Dragon Con. Almost the whole cast at this point. And what's that?
I met the girl that played Uhura at WinterCon. Nice lady.
Oh yeah,
great. I got her autograph and everything. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, so there's only a few of those things around, and the rest of them are like voice actors for Airbender, something or other. And I'm like, this guy played an Airbender, and I'm like, no, don't know that one.
His voice did.
Yeah, his voice did. Yeah, so they get a lot of voice actor pieces and everything else, but. That's the
thing. There's this huge list of voice actors they can just rattle down, and I mean, occasionally
AI's going to take that job soon and wait.
It'd be fun to be a voice actor.
Yeah, wouldn't be for long because AI will take it over. I know it. I know that for a fact because at work we have used it to overdub some of our supervisors that have come in and messed up on the audio. Or like, well, you have to come back in and. Just never mind. We got it.
Just speechify.
Yeah, that's it. We just drop it into an AI engine, and all of a sudden, ta-da!
Snoop Dogg's gonna read this now.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
You already. Now you're in our database.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the big strike was over, and a lot of that kind of stuff is people.
Yeah.
You're gonna take my image and then repeat it using AI or whatever else, and I'm not gonna get paid for that. So. I got it. It makes sense. But
and this AI is good for some things, but not for a lot of things. It's people's jobs, livelihood there, so it's good. You can't replace people on certain things. So.
Nope, can't. Yeah, you still have to proofread whatever the AI puts out at. Trust me that.
Yep. And look what you're gonna buy. Still trying. It's all right, but it's a little too fruity for me for a wit.
Oh. Yeah, well, I've only drank that much so far because. My God, that stuff's strong.
Wait till you get this much. Want to see what happens when you have this much left.
At the end of the show, Tipsy Toaster will live up to his name at that point, probably.
Why not?
Yep,
Why not?
So thanks, John. Now why don't we move over to our guest who's been nice and patient and kind of working with us here and is talking. So I'm going to turn it over to Bert, and you go ahead and do a quick intro to him, and let's find out more about this. And John, you can stay on if you would, and we can kind of just have a. Oh, I was going to say something really wrong. We can have a. I stopped myself
round
though.
Table.
We're going to have a round table. Yes, I was not going to have a blank way or something like that.
We knew where you were going.
A conversation.
I think I'll just take it from here before the tips go completely off.
And I haven't drank that much. It's not.
That's okay. That's okay.
You didn't have to.
Luca Nobleman.
Yep.
Luca Nobleman, welcome to the fleet. Welcome again. Thanks
Hello.
for joining us today. Very much appreciated.
Being here.
Well, Luca is a science fiction writer, creator, podcaster. There's a whole breadth of things how you I think storyteller might be the best summary. So you have big epic stories to tell. We talked a little bit before the live section about your word count. So you write epic stuff. You have you could fill a lot of pages of traditional print books, but you're not. You decided for a different way to distribute your stories. And I know usually we have this at the very end where we say, oh, so where can we find you and how can we buy your stuff? But I find your distribution model really interesting. So if you don't mind, we'll start there. You can read the novels as a web novel, but you also have audio portions. So I listened in to the first chapter or two and the prologue. You can use Spotify. You can use it's on iTunes. I believe I listened to it on Amazon Music. What made you choose the audio heavy route to get your story out?
Well, I love reading sci-fi. I mean, I love reading fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, all these books. But I also have a family, a busy life, and the more people I talk to, and I also feel this way, is I write this story and I'm like, nowadays who has the time to sit down and read a book? A lot of people,
yes, you're right.
Gypsy is with you on that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of times I feel like I'm listening to these sci-fi novels when I'm driving in the car, or when I'm mowing the lawn, or when I'm taking care of my family, and just throw it on and do the dishes, right? And that's how I think most people listen nowadays and read books and read stories. So a lot of times we say, oh, I read that book, but did we really? We probably listened to the book. And I mean, you get all the same depth. It's no different. You just went through it a different way. So that's how I kind of felt. So I wrote this book, and I said, would I sit down and read a book? Well, I'd probably listen to it in an audiobook version, but so I just said, I'm going to start recording an audiobook version of this. And what better way to distribute a story to the masses than through a podcast? And I didn't want to to me, it's not about making money off of this. It's about getting this story out to the world, because I believe in it so much. I'm so passionate about it. And I see where it's going, and it can be so much. And I just want everyone to have access to it. So I said, well, just post it on as like a podcast, an audiobook. And then you can read it as well, because I do know there's people out there who still like to read. And then eventually the goal is, when it's all posted, is I'll get a print copy, because I know there's plenty of people who do like to sit down and read the actual physical copy. And I like owning the copy and then listening to it on audiobook. So,
same.
It will,
Sometimes I know lots of people who get the Kindle ebook or listen to the audiobook first, and if they like it, then they might go for the hardcover. And the hardcover sometimes never gets read. It's more like a collectible, like almost like a trophy you put as an achievement in your
head. You're like, I did read it
somewhere in the shelf.
I have it.
Yeah, that's one of my things. Is, I mean, I have tons of audiobooks. I mean, I've been listening to audiobooks for probably on the same platform, Audible, since almost when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So I have got tons of them. But you go and meet an author at a Comic-Con or whatever else, and say, I love your storyline, I love your book, I love how you put it together. Tell me, what was in your mind? How'd you pick the main characters? How did you do this? And then you're like, oh, I wish I had something you could sign, because I don't. Can you sign my phone? I mean,
right. Sign the front of it.
It sounds like Luca's working on that. So you said there will be a print version eventually,
yeah, there
but
will be,
you did not choose to start there for the reasons you outlined. You want to have this really accessible. If someone prefers absolutely wants the written word, you have it as a web novel, so the text version is there. If you want to consume the book the same way. And I found it interesting what you said about, if you listen to an audiobook, you will still claim, I read the book.
Yep,
and
right.
I know some people who make it really, the dividing line is really sharp. No, you didn't read it. You just listened to it and cheated. I don't feel this way. I feel like if you consume the story, right, that's what it's about. You heard the story.
You can converse with someone about the plot, about the characters.
Yep.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, I think I find myself in the car or listening to a book or whatever else, and if I'm really into it, I'll be like almost emulating the characters. I bet he said it like this, so and so looked at him and with an eye squinted, and you're like, yeah, I bet he did that. That's yeah. So you start acting it out almost, and it's almost like a radio play sometimes. I mean, some of those audiobooks are plays. Really, I like an audio play. They have different characters and different people in them, and it's like listening to the old radio plays, the radio shows. Dick Tracy and Little Orphan Annie and no, I did not listen to those. I'm not that old. I just know about them.
You just admitted it.
I was just about to say, Tipsy, now we're going from DVD to VHS, and now we reach the golden age of radio.
Back in my day, all we had was the radio. We warmed up by the tubes. It was hold in the room.
We passed it down like
and you had to hold the antenna yourself because you were the youngest in the family.
Yep.
And then
you stood there and held the antenna.
You had to move a little. Yep.
No, now I did have to hold the antenna on the TV at one point in time. With
didn't we all?
The rabbit ears and the
Uh-huh.
back in the day when it wasn't digital like it is nowadays.
And if the screw wasn't
that wasn't a
it kept
remote.
falling.
They had us, right?
Yeah, there wasn't a remote. They had us. Yep.
Set it to 2.
Stay up.
No, that sucks. Set it to 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to U and then go down to the other one and hit 5. So you change the the UHF channels at the bottom. Crazy. How far we have come. How far we have come.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day.
Bring that pendulum to the now. We talked about AI earlier, and I said I read your prologue, Luca, and it's you go heavily into that theme there, right? So in the prologue, you witness how basically an AI is born, how it comes to life. But I have to say that it's not the AI like we have it today, that is a large language model or some machine learning algorithm. You're talking about the very sort of traditional
Physical
way how
embodiment.
AI has been described in science fiction, a general AI.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about the physical embodiment of AI, and that was like a big part of the story for me is artificial intelligence. When is it considered sentient? When is it considered life, essentially? And so the story plays on a lot of this concept, and I don't want to give too much away because it gets, I think, very exciting, especially towards the end of Asunder. I think you're gonna start seeing a lot of this play out, and there's hints throughout the entire book. So I think one thing to delineate is that prologue is one machine, Enver. That's NVR 791. That's his tagline, his title, his given name. But he ends up going by Enver, and we start to learn about this Enver character throughout the story. But he is separate from Enzo, who is another anthropomorphic artificial intelligence. He's this robot, for lack of better terms, who we follow his story along throughout this book. Yes. Yeah, so there's 2 AI characters, but one is...
Oh, crap.
Based off of Enver, and he was the original embodiment of this artificial intelligence that I thought of, but I needed Enzo to be in this story as well. So Enzo's the one we follow, but we do learn a little more about Enver throughout the story. But yes, this story has a lot to do with sentience and when is life? When is this thing so intelligent and it can experience emotions and when does that become life? And so this is a lot. The story is a lot about that. So
yeah, that makes sense. So you use the sentient or near sapient AI as a mirror to look at what's really interesting, our interesting pieces of humanity, what makes us human. And it sounds like you switch the point of view between quote unquote real humans and the AI protagonists.
Yeah, so I think I was really inspired by a book by David Mitchell. I think he wrote it in, I want to say early 2000s, 2005. Cloud Atlas. It was made into a movie by.
Oh yeah.
The book is amazing, and I read this book back in 2006. I want to say it was 2006, and I read it, and it still left such an impact on me because the way he tells the story. And he tells the story, and each chapter is this point of view of this character, and then you move on to the next chapter, and it's another character in another setting. And eventually the goal, I think, of his story was that kind of they all mesh together, and that's how this story works. And so there's 5 point of views, and each point of view, it tells the story of a different character essentially, or a different point in their life, and that cycle repeats itself throughout the book. So you get point of view 1, chapter 1, point of view 2, point of view 3, point of view 4, 5, and then it repeats and it goes back to 1, and it stays this way throughout the whole book, interspersed with a few interludes and an epilogue. And so that Cloud Atlas format, I really liked the way he did that, and so I wanted to apply this in this story because it makes for interesting writing, and I wanted to have kind of this challenge to help make these points of views cohesive and mesh together. Much inspiration from like that movie Crash back in 2003, 2004, where it's these different points of view, and at the end of the movie, everything meshes together. So I really
Crash,
like that.
the one where the different storylines meet in, I think it's in L.A. The setting is in Los Angeles.
In L.A. One's a cop, one's and so there's all these different stories, and they all mesh together, and so I really just like that concept of guidance throughout these characters' lives, and are they being guided together, or is it really coincidence? And I really like that thought of coincidence versus guidance, and freedom of thought, and free agency, and where this all meshes together. I mean, how many of us in our lives have these coincidences where you're like, how did that happen? Yes. And I wanted lots of those moments in the book where you have these moments where you're like, how did that happen? Not like sheer coincidence, but I think you'll start to learn that there is some sort of guidance through this whole picture. So as far as the format, the points of view, I think they're really fun. They're really important. So the first point of view is first chapter 1, and you meet Azar, or Balthazar, his full name Balthazar, but he goes by Azar. And what's fun about his story is he's kind of this independent story happening throughout the book, but it helps guide you along kind of where these machines came from. Because the story, in essence, I guess I'm getting too far. The story is set essentially 200 years in the future, post-apocalypse. Machines rule the world. Essentially, humankind has been vaporized. They're gone, except for a select few of humans who are allowed to live in these colonies and these mining facilities. The reason they're allowed to live is because these specific humans have a special ability, have these chromophores in their eyes that can sense a special type of ore. And this ore is used to power these machines. And it's not just like, oh, it's a battery, it powers them. You start to learn that this ore is more than that. It gives them their sentience, right? And so if this machine loses that ore, they're done for. Their sentience is gone. You can't just remake it. So the machines thrive on this ore, but humans can only sense it. Like there's no technology that can sense this ore. And so these humans are allowed to live to mine this ore for the machines. And so point of view 1 tells about Azar, and he's kind of in our era. He was born in like 2004. I think that's how I had it placed. And he's this scientist professor who is learning about this special ability he has, this ability that his dreams allow him to communicate with others. And I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want any spoilers. But that's part of it. It's
hard to not spoil it. I only read to a part where I can not spoil it at all because I don't know enough. But that's of course more of a challenge for you. Well,
right. Wow, I think it's impressive that
what little I read, I really liked what you just described. I think it's fascinating stuff. Of course, the core fear that John 1 and the rest of us are going to be replaced, and they're just
Cylons, baby,
around for really special tasks.
Right.
It's a pervasive scheme in science fiction. We've been through it. It has been done before, but I think it has never been more relevant than it is today, where lots of people who haven't really who are outside of the realm of being science fiction fans, or have heard about AI tangentially, but now it affects their business, it affects their workplace. So I think this is it's very timely to look at this from different angles. So I find this really cool. What was the initial motivation to kick off this epic journey of your characters?
Yeah, so I'm really into board games, and you've probably heard me earlier about Magic the Gathering. I love Magic the Gathering, everything about it. But I love board games. I have an entire closet full of them.
Oh,
and,
now we need to talk.
Yeah, I've been playing for years and years and years, and every time I play it, I kept thinking, I want to make a game. I want to make this. So about 10 years ago, I was getting that in my head. I want to make a game. And so about 7 years ago, I really started diving into making board games. And I'm a professional illustrator, but I'm also a musician and all these things. And so I was like, I think I'd have the ability to kind of bring this all together and create these mechanics and do the art for it. It was fun to like do it. So what I did is I started making all these board games, and then kind of in the board game world, when you're creating a board game, you start out by like submitting them to contests and then getting lots of feedback because they actually read through your rule book. So I was making these games, and it was set in this world because I just woke up one night and I started thinking about this world, about this machine, this Enver, and then kind of building from there. And I was like, I want to make this world into these board games. And so I started making them, and then eventually I had this. I sent it into a contest, and this person in the contest said, "Great game, your mechanics are great, but no one knows this story. What's this story? No one knows these characters." And it hit me, and I said, "Oh my gosh, no one knows the universe. No one knows these characters. People need to know the story." And so I was like, I gotta write it. I gotta write the story. I gotta bring this up, make this together. So I spent a year, and I started investigating and taking classes on professional writing. And so I was like, I want to write this good. I want to do it right. So I want to take all the classes and do it correctly, and understand the syntax and the grammar and the plot and the archetypes and all these different things. And that's where it all like came from. It came from, hey, I want this story known. I guess these board games were just a way to make this story known. And now I'm like, I want to do this through writing, which I found that I love almost more than anything. Writing is, you just get in this world, this zone, and you live in it, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it, is you kind of create, writers and the artists and those people actually create the universes where these people act them out. So it's so much, you're actually giving somebody a view into a world that they don't know anything about, and you actually can, you have come up with it, and you're sharing part of you when you do that. I think that's fantastic.
You started out with the game, and then it became and then it became the writing, which you now, it sounds like, prefer as your expressive method.
That honestly,
it sounds like when Tolkien developed some languages, and then it's like, I want to write a story about it, and then came up with Lord of the Rings just because he was obsessed with made-up languages. So it's right. Sometimes you find the writing at the end of the process, and then you stick with it. And you said you took classes about creative writing. Are you what's your method? Are you more of a pantser, writing by the seat of your pants, or are you plotting? Are you a plotter?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm an overall architect as far as like the general like chapter outline, right? Like I know how I want the book to flow, and I know I want key points hit in certain chapters and things, but I'm more of a gardener. I'll say this chapter needs to be about this. Let's see where that takes us. And I'll write for hours, and this story will create, and then you'll say, oh my gosh, who's this new character that came out of here? oh well, gosh, they got to be more part of this story, so I got to go implant them back into the beginning, and there's a lot,
I mean, that's
and
sounds like the
it's a
great part
lot
of
of
being
work.
a world builder. I mean, you go back and forth, you fix it, you okay, let me do this, and then it like basically takes like a world of its own on you. And you're like, oh, I have a new character, I need a new character for this, and that's like the beauty of being a
Right.
sci-fi world builder. I mean, you're building us, you're showing us what you want to show us in your world, and people are like, okay, wow, it's great. It's you fix it, you go back here, you do that. I mean, that's does it drive you crazy? Like,
Exactly.
oh, I gotta fix this, or you wake up like 2 o'clock in the morning, oh, I
Oh,
got to.
I like the
Yeah,
part
all the
where you
time.
get the characters take on their own life, right? Sometimes you create someone who's just supposed to open the door
Hmm.
and doesn't even have a name. And 3 volumes later, it's a major player in the
Yeah,
politics in
they're like
in your
killing
universe.
the.
Can
Yeah,
happen.
right.
That's just
No,
as
it's
bad as
true.
half the Star
It's
Wars characters. You could play the guy who put cookies on fucking Darth Vader. Sorry for the language. I should have went Darth Vader's
there.
like table, and you're gonna have a spin-off series sooner or later about the Cookie Man.
Right.
So yeah, I
Oh,
mean that's just
100%.
that's just the
Yeah.
way it is, especially those
Oh
popular
yeah, you
ones.
make a throwaway comment about he fought in the Clone Wars, and then you
Yeah.
have a whole sub
A whole
franchise
series
based
now.
on a throwaway sentence. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been writing the third book now, and this character came to life in this third book, and I was like, I love this character. They need their own story, and so I was like talking it over with my kids, and I was like, this is kind of this idea I have. And my son was like, Dad, everyone reads graphic novels. You got to do
Yep.
a graphic novel.
Yep.
And I said, dude, that's a great idea. So now another project coming out of this is
Ooh.
I'm working on a graphic novel of another character in this story that will be geared more towards, preteens, teens, family, but just something the whole family could sit down and be like, oh, I love the Dreaming Machines world, and look at this book, and it's a graphic novel, and beautiful art and a great story, and that's what I want. I want this just to be bigger than it is. Like I believe in this story so much.
Yeah.
So
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 you actually did the
pick
art
one
for all of
character
this as
and
well,
made
right? Oops.
basically
Sorry.
an additional story about him. Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
awesome. A great expansion, and as you said, you can create this for a slightly different audience, or at least as an entry point for a different audience, and then get them
mm-hmm.
into, well, maybe you're interested in the whole universe now, and you can get the
Mm-hmm.
board game later.
Right. Right. Exactly. The board game will come with it later.
Yep. So
Well, yeah,
you
let's
you
not
did.
completely forget about the
Yeah.
board game. I know it's not your priority anymore, but hey, it's still a good idea, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
You also mentioned Dune and Star Wars as some of your like muses, things that franchises you really like and that inspired
Mhm.
you. Is do you when you write down a chapter or scene, do you see it play out as a Star Warsy scene before you write it?
Yeah, I mean, I love movies, and I love the thought of series, and I feel like that's how I write. Like I feel like I have to write like I'm watching a scene from the movie. And yeah, and it does feel like, oh yeah, I want this to, and when it comes to all the different stories and progression of the stories and how long the books are and all those things, I do see it more than just a simple story. I mean, obviously, all these character stories are basically simple, but yeah, they become it's essentially like, I want it to be like you're watching Star Wars, you're reading Star Wars, this world's going to be bigger than you realize. So
Do you do a lot of research? Like, say you want to explain something like how this machine powers up to like blast people, or do you like
oh,
easier for
absolutely.
the reader to understand? Okay, that makes sense because I explain it a certain way, or is that come easy, or do you do a lot of research in that? Or?
Yeah, no, I do a lot of research actually. Because I come from kind of that background where there's, I'm used to reading like journal articles. I've done a lot of research. So research is a big thing for me. And so I want to do it right. I don't want to just be like, oh, the battery powers I want to kind of get into the nitty gritty of it. And I feel like there's some things in the novel where you're like, all right, Luke, this is getting a little you're a little researchy, and I try to avoid that too much, so it's not too textbooky. But I do feel that way, and especially in the second book is a lot of historical fiction is intertwined into it. And so that intertwining of the historical fiction, I had to do a lot of research. I spent a year researching all these different things for the second book, because the second book builds on the story, but it's also sort of a standalone in that the stories told within this book are similar to these different points of views, but I wanted them to be throughout time. And so these points of views are in different cultures, different eras, different settings. One story's told about a crusader and a villager in a Muslim town and their interaction relationship. So I had to do a lot of research on that. A lot. And then another story is about this young girl in this samurai culture, pre-Edo era, and I had to do a ton of research on that. I didn't want to get things wrong. I wanted to do it justice, essentially. And then and so every story is I really had to do a lot of research, and so, which is fun. That's like such a fun part of writing is research, and in writing you have to set that time apart to do it. I never want to do anything wrong, and so doing that research is super important.
Oh wow!
Yeah, especially if you use these historical periods, right? Then you mentioned Cloud Atlas as an inspiration, and the way how they did it. It was very densely packed. I remember the movie was one of those where I think if you blinked, you missed something important. This was really a movie where you had to completely focus on, because the ideas and the message was packed so densely. So yeah, if that inspired you, I think a lot of research was necessary for the historical period.
Absolutely.
Well done. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is pretty cool.
But you look at the time periods independently. There's no time travel, or am I wrong?
I
like time travel. This is what I have to ask.
So yes and no. I love that. I love that aspect, and so I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of
fine. If you can't do it spoiler free, forget
forget
the question.
Theory, there's just so much to it, and Asunder's been so wonderful putting this out, and I love the feedback I'm getting from it, and I'm just getting more excited because the story's ramping up more and more, and I'm like, oh my gosh, but you don't even know what's going to happen. This is going to be so exciting how this book comes together in the end. And then I'm almost more excited for the next story. I want to spill the beans. I want to be and this and this and this and this is what happens, and this is the world. But as a writer, you have to do it very subtly. So it's a lot of holding myself back and saying, okay, just take the ride. It's going to be fun.
So you have all the reveals, all the big stuff already lined up, and then I assume the plotting you do, the planning ahead, is when to reveal what, not to just throw it all in the first chapter, which maybe you would like to do that, but then there's not enough left for the rest.
Maybe a very short book at that point. Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, paragraph 1. Okay, we're done.
End.
Yeah, they were alive, then they died. Okay, next.
Right.
All right. So you said you had a closet full of games, and I am a big Avalon Hill fan.
Avalon's great.
Avalon Hill. Do you have any Avalon Hill games? Do you do any? Have you ever played those? I'm dating myself when I say that. So
no, I don't have them. I play them, but I don't have them personally. But no, I got.
What's your favorite game?
One of my all-time favorite games is a game by Jamie Stegmaier. I don't know if you ever played Scythe. It's based off of a world created by an artist named Jakub Rzalski. Sorry, I said his last name wrong. Jakub Rzalski, and it's called the 1920s world, and it's just this really cool alternate history of the 1920s. And so Jamie Stegmaier created this game Scythe. It's a big game with, you have these mechs that are fighting each other. It's an engine builder game, so you're like getting resources, you're exploring this map, you're making these encounters, and the art in it is just beautiful. The mechanics just move so smoothly. The game takes probably like 2 hours to play, but I just love it, and it's a beautifully organized game.
What's that?
Yeah,
2 hours is not bad. 2 hours is a quick
not too
game.
bad. Yeah, like he made it so you could get it done in a fairly reasonable amount of time.
Crap, I remember staying up all weekend and doing one.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
I'll write this down here.
There's expansions for this too?
Yeah, what's cool is one of the expansions is a story that you can play solo mode yourself and play through this story, which is really fun. And then he just made another game called Expeditions, which is in the same world, that just got released recently. And his work is just great. You've probably seen some of his company's games, like Wingspan, that birder game, the bird watching game. You see it at like Target and stores like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so his company made that game, but he's also a creator and board game maker. So great guy, Jamie Stegmeyer. So shout out to him. He's very talented.
Do you play like Catan?
Really cool.
Catan, I have all the Catans. I have all the Seven Wonders. I have Rise of Atlantis, a great new sci-fi game called, what was it called? I just got it off in the mail from Kickstarter. I'm trying to think of the game. I want to say Interstellar, but that's just my favorite movie. So, but essentially, I can't think of the name of the game. But you're exploring different worlds. I played it with my 13-year-old, and like these monsters are trying to eat you the whole time. You're just trying to survive, and you have this robot that kind of explores ahead of you, and you follow it along, and all of a sudden it's like you release these spores, and these spores start going all over the map, and you're trying to escape them. It's super fun. So, Unsettled. Yeah, Unsettled. That's the game's name. Okay. Unsettled. And they come out with new worlds, and so each world, it comes in its own box, and so like you have the base game, and then you get these worlds that you open up, and you get to explore this new world. And they're really cool company. They get the fans involved, and so fans can be like, I kind of want to see this in a world, and they'll start like building on it and say, okay, what more should we do? And then so these worlds really come to life, and some of them are created by fans. So
awesome.
Well, I mean, that's of course a great topic for this channel. This one here is all about the fans. One thing that I fell in love with when I first met this crew and was asked to come on the show, like you are here today, is the absolute stance of fans are so important for this creative industry, and they're really the bedrock. If there are no fans, there's nothing. Yep. Right? Mm-hmm. And I think there are very few channels who completely highlight this and say this every single time and have this as a mantra. So that was something that certainly drew me here, that I still love about this show and channel. So how's your relationship with your own fandom? Has feedback for the first book, Sunder, molded how you created the second? Did you take some of the feedback
I created
the
the second before I even released Asunder, so that's kind of but it does a lot of the feedback I get from fans. It does help you guide you. You know, you always want you have this idea for this world, but then you'll have someone tell you like, but I really like this character, and I think this character needs to have more of a part. And you're like, oh, you know, one of the characters, for instance. So I have some swag I'll send you guys some of these if you want. But some stickers here that I made for the Dreaming Machines world. But in this, so I wanted to make this for fans because I said, I'm a fan of all these sci-fi things. I love having sci-fi swag. So I create all these things, but this character here, sorry if I can get it on there. This character here, this is Hera, and Hera is and it's cartoony for a reason. Hera's this other artificial intelligence that is programmed into Enzo, and she's kind of like the one that's trying to help him, or kind of make sure he's following the rules that are set by the alpha, the main villain essentially in the story, the first machine, the first artificial intelligence. But this Hera, him and this Hera argue a lot with each other, and she's like, you imagine her as this high-pitched British voice, and she's always annoyed with him. Follow the rules, listen to your commander, do these things. Why do you think freely? Why do you do these things? And so I just loved the character. And so there's going to be a point coming up soon in the story where, so I wanted Hera to be kind of like the Siri, the Alexa. And you'll find that out pretty quickly in the story, in one of Azar's interactions about Hera, that she is kind of like the Alexa of this world, the Siri of this world. And so one thought I had kind of a little snippet of her in the story, and when I was reading it to some people, they were like, I really like this character, this Hera character. And I was like, I got to build on this Hera character more. People like her. And then she became my favorite character. I love her. And so soon in the story, she's going to come across her original, I wanted to make kind of like this vintage marketing ploy of this company called Solutronics in the book. And so she's going to come across and be like, that doesn't look like me, so
yeah.
I wanted
kind of reminds me of Fallout.
Right, yeah, kind of like the Fallout bobblehead, or
yep.
or
which is very retro. Yep.
Yeah, or Mrs. Time from Loki. She's the dancing clock,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just like that concept. So so this is her. This is Hera. So I'll have this swag. Send me your addresses. I'll mail this to you guys afterward.
Oh, cool.
And to fans too, if you're listening, just first 10 fans that message me on Facebook, give me your address. I'll mail them to you for free, just for listening and supporting.
Oh, very generous. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
First 10 fans. You guys in the chat know what you know what you have to do.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And you said you're an artist as well. So
yeah, so I went to art school, and then I did a lot of like medical illustrating for years, and then and I really got into illustrating my board games and all this. A lot of the art. Just to get the point across for right now. But I'm working with an illustrator right now to get professionally illustrated illustrations for each chapter, because I'm an inner kid. I love graphic novels. I love comic books. I love kids' books. And just, even though this is an older kid story, I like art. I like images. I like color and mixed media. Like I write music for this story. Like I'll write like there's some parts in there you'll hear me sing terribly in some of these songs. And so
what was the music at the beginning of the episode?
That's a song I wrote. So that was a song I wrote. And that's when I play the piano and guitar and all these things. And I was just playing it on the piano one day, and I said, "Oh, that's Dreaming Machines. Just that song is Dreaming Machines." And so I was like, I gotta record it and make that the opening song to the podcast. And so that's what I did. And it's fun because my son is a musician, and so he'll always be like, "Dad, this sounds like this would be cool for Dreaming Machines," and I'll record it. And so I'm working right now. I have a buddy who's a really good musician, digital musician, and I'm going to work with him to get even more music for it. So it's just an overall fun world to be in, where you can listen to music, stick a sticker on your water bottle, listen to the book, read the book. I just want it to be a world that you can live in.
It's great that you got the support from the family and can rope in your son as well, and you work on this together. I think this is really great. It sounds fantastic.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. Me and him will just sit there and we'll talk about it. And honestly, like 5 books from now, there's going to be some stuff happening, and I will give ultimate credit to my son for coming up with some of these ideas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. We have to do that. So
I'm totally stealing that, son. I'm not going to give you any credit for it either, but
you won't get no credit, but
No, I thought
it's all
that.
my idea. Yeah.
Well,
No, I
you're
can't
gonna
do it at
pass
all.
down the copyright eventually, so it's all good. It's all fair.
right? Look at Tolkien's grandson, right? He owns it all.
I'm
It
looking
was
forward
probably
to
his
this.
idea
You have
anyways,
one
right?
big fan at home. That's awesome. I really like that.
I'm looking forward to sharing this with my son. He's a big into robots and electronics, and if anyone's gonna create the AI, it's gonna be my son Wyatt.
Right?
Human beings.
Cylons. Cylons.
Yeah,
I
he's
make-
gonna do it.
One thing with these stories is, they're PG-13 in like maybe some of the violence and some of the things but I didn't want it to ever be something where a parent would go, ooh, I don't want my kid listening or reading that. So even though there's some heavier topics, nothing that I don't think a kid, a preteen, 10 and older couldn't handle. So there's no swearing in it. There's no sexual content or anything of that nature. So which is, I just want everyone to be able to enjoy it. Very Star Warsy. Everyone can enjoy Star Wars.
I think this has actually been the hallmark of proper science fiction forever. That when you read something like Foundation when you were 15, and then you reread it when you're 50, it's 2 different books you're reading, and I think that's cool. That there's the adventurous, lightweight layer of the story, but there are also the heavier themes in the background. So there's something for everyone. So I like it that it spans the generations. That's proper science fiction. Well done.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I think it's so important that we share these stories. I mean, a lot of people will like, I had this idea, but there's only a few people out there. I mean, authors and artists and those kind of, there's only those few people out there that will take that and create something out of it and share it with the world. It is very, some people will just like, it was an idea I had, but if you don't write it down, it goes away. It goes away when you go away. So it's so important to, share your ideas and share your, even if let's say nobody reads it, nobody watches it, nobody listens to it, nobody does anything with it, but in 30 years or 50 years or 100 years from now, who knows? It could be, you know what, I listened to this one thing and it inspired me to make a movie, or maybe it's something different. It'll be a VR experience probably then.
Right.
Yeah. But it inspired me, it gave me an idea. You fuel other people. Like fans fuel the fleet, artists fuel other artists. Those people fuel each other. And if you don't throw something out there, if you don't create something, if you don't become a creator, if you don't, you don't have it in you, that's fine. But if you are a creator and you have something that you want to share, or there's, and you've got the minutes, the time to put this stuff down on paper, share it with your family, share it with your kids, share it with your fans. That's so important. I mean, that is the pinnacle of artistry at that point. That's something that you're sharing. You don't care, like you had said earlier. Not in it for the money. I'm in it just to get the story out there. I'm in it because I enjoy it. I'm in it because I'm a fan of my own work, and of course that fuels you. That's so important that that you don't give up. There's a lot of people would at some point say, I'm not making any money with that. Heck with it. I don't want to worry about that anymore. And then, that's a spoiled and unfortunate wasted opportunity for some people. So good job. I mean, this is something I've never thought of. This is I like the idea that it's a book, but it's also an online book. It's an online audio experience. It's something. I'm sorry. Maybe there's more of them out there, but I've never heard of it before until
great.
So that's a great idea. And great,
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really, that means a lot.
Well, being authors, you and Bert, I mean, what's like getting the feedback when you do all the research, you put it out there, okay, here it is, and when you start getting the feedback, I mean, that must be a high on its own. I mean,
even one person gives a feedback, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. I had this one author, Paul Lally. He writes a bunch of historical fiction, and I didn't think he'd read it. I didn't, and he read it, and I put that review up. I asked him, hey, can I put this review up? Like, that was very nice of you to say these things. And he said, oh, absolutely. I put it up there. But yeah, that just his words alone just, bring tears to your eyes. You're like, that's all I care about. If one person just like read this and said, wow, that made me feel better today, or that inspired me, man, success. Like, that's all I care about. And I'll keep doing it.
Yep. And you don't realize it. I mean, sometimes you don't know that you're making a difference in somebody's life, or, creating an idea in someone else's head. That's the beauty behind it. Fantastic. I love it.
Thanks.
And your website is, if we go to your website, we can still hear the podcast and everything?
Yep.
Yeah, so the website is dreaming-machines-novels. Sorry, I know that's a mouthful. dreaming-machines-novels.com. Free website. You can go on there. You can read all the chapters I've posted so far, 29 chapters.
So Lola, there you go. You can read it. Lola's like, I like to read things. I'll listen to it.
You can read it. It's there. I also have an app that,
Excuse me.
I made an app because I was like, hey, just having an app on your phone. It's currently on Apple. It's in the works. In the next couple of weeks, hopefully it'll be on Google Play, so you could get it on Android. Or you could just like go to the website on your phone, but you can read each chapter, 29 chapters so far out of the 54 chapters. And so I publish a chapter once a week. And then the audiobook usually tells it by, maybe a week or so, because I have to record them and everything as well. So I'm working on that, getting all the chapters recorded audiobook version too, just so whatever medium you want to use, it's there. You can read it, you can listen to it. You can email me, contact at dreamingmachines-novels.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions. The first book will be, like I said, 54 chapters, which is about 750 pages total, 220,000 words. Second book is about the same length and number of pages, everything. So this is going, and it's going to keep going. And I'll make paperbacks for it once each book is fully released. There's some of the stickers there. You can buy them online too. Just something fun to have, some swag. So I'm very passionate about it. It brings me so much joy. This is what I do every day. I wake up at 4 a.m, and for 2 hours I'm working on this. I'm making this world because I believe in it, and I know other people will too, because it's a
passion, because it's not your day job really. It's a passion project, and that makes it even better. I mean, really, it does. I mean, we're in the process of doing a passion project as well, and I know that it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. But when you finally start working in it, you're like, I don't care how much work it is. This is amazing. I can't wait to get this out. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it myself. If nobody else watches it, so be it. If it never wins any awards, so be it. Right. I can't wait to see it myself. I can't wait to finish the book myself. I can't see where this is going to go. I want to see where this ends. What's my next turn? Yep.
Yeah.
And it just that. There we go.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
Yep.
Well, yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, it's that's exactly how it is. It's just like you live in this, and you can find so much joy in it, and you hope others find joy in it too. And that's what I hope. I mean, it's just like I was so immersed in these books growing up, Dune and Mist and Lord of the Rings, and and now there's so many great authors now I get just enthralled by. But yeah, and or like you were saying earlier, with video games, you lived in these worlds. I lived in Final Fantasy VII for 6 months of my life, because that's how long it took to finally beat Sephiroth. But but like but yeah, like and Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, these worlds, like people put so much energy and time into them, and they're beautiful, and you can still go back on them all these years later and just live
the artistry is still there, the story is still there, imagination that triggers you is still there.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
And these become truly real for you, and some of the maps so well. We once took a wrong turn in LA, and they said, well, just keep on going and there will be this pedestrian bridge overpass. And how do you know that? Oh, this was in GTA 5. I know this part.
Oh my gosh.
And the bridge was there indeed, and I didn't know it from the real world. Yeah.
Right.
Luca, this is fantastic stuff. This is, I think, as Tipsy Toes already said, the distribution model is really fresh. There's a lot of content, and you have the first, the second, working on the third. Don't leave complete sight of the board game, because at some point that's still a cool option.
It's still popular.
I'm sold.
Yep.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys chatting with us about me. I mean, it's a pack. I love to talk about it. So, and being with you guys are all great. Like this is so fun. And even if we weren't talking about the book, you guys are just fun.
Yeah, it's we'd be sitting here talking about stuff anyways, and why not just put it on air and let everybody else listen to us at the same time, right?
Right.
So I think it's it's fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on. What's next for you? I mean, you're gonna finish this and go on. What's your future? Where do you see yourself in 5 years as the interview person would usually go?
Right. What's your 10-year plan?
What's your plan?
Yeah. So book 2, obviously, at the end of the year, get that going. Publish a paperback of the first book, Asunder, and then be getting the third book eventually out. I think next year I kind of want to move things quicker, so maybe get the second book rather than once a week, and maybe even get that going sooner, but maybe twice a week, right? And so things can get out quicker, because I want this story to get out there. So sometimes I think, maybe I should do things quicker, do it twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then eventually, hopefully that someone will, want to make it into a series, want to make it into a movie, want to make it into a video game.
Yep.
Here we go.
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah. Like just an immersive world, I want this to be so much more. I mean, it's great now, and I want it to be even better. So. Right.
Well,
perfect.
We hope you come on back. You please keep an open invitation. So the next time you're ready to release the second book, or you're going to paperback or whatever else, come on back on the show. I mean, we'd love to have you back there. Yeah.
Yeah, this is so fun. I could do this every night.
So could we, but I don't think my wife would appreciate that any. But anyways,
right.
it's always that thing about living indoors and eating. I got to go to work.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feed the animals.
Yeah, that's it.
Humans need to eat.
But thank you so much, and once again, we really appreciate you coming on, and we hope to have you back. And once again, don't stop, don't give up.
I won't.
Keep going. Yep.
It was a pleasure being here with you guys. I'm grateful for all your enthusiasm and questions and having me on. This is so great. I love it.
Yep. So here's to you, because fans feel the fleet.
Fans feel the fleet.
Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Luke.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Great, man.
That was awesome. Thank you, guys.
God, great. No problem.
Yeah, this was great stuff. I really like it. Looks like epic content. Still keeps going. The angle he came from is very unique. The way how he rolled it out is very unique. He brings in his own music, the additional art, feedback from the family, young fans. Love it.
Yep. Oops, I didn't change that lower third for you. Oh well, I got most of them. But yeah, it's once again, he's got a passion. That's important. It's important to see someone who is taken, and we all three of us here know what that is. We have a passion. I have a passion for Battlestar. Writing a book or a movie or just short stories or whatever else. So that's my passion. I live in that world. And then John's got a great an idea in regards to maybe his own. I'm not going to share too much there, John, because I don't know where you want to go with that. But you've got your own script that you've written. That,
we're got another one too, so it's it's fun. It's actually it's inspired. Doing this inspired me. Just, okay, let me try something and let me see how I do. And I got ideas. I watch stuff a lot, and it's really good. Good feedback, and I'm developing it. I'm getting the confidence to do something, and and it's good. So it's
I was telling you have to share that dream. You have to share that story. If you don't, it just sits in your head and it dies with you. Yeah. And New York Pete there. I didn't change this one. I forgot to change the bottom one.
I've been now fully integrated into the crew.
You got to talk like this now. You got to talk right. Hey, what's going on?
I'm bad with accents if it's not my own. Sorry.
But thanks for coming on. I really appreciate y'all hanging out. And we covered for Pete tonight, and he's somewhere in Denver. I think he actually just got done with. He just went to. I went not too long ago. It's the world's biggest comic book store, Mile High Comics. He sent me some pictures from there. I've been there a couple of times now, but it's just you go there and you look into the glass case and there's a comic book in there that's like $25,000. You're like,
yeah, I believe it.
Wow.
Will he ever make it out of the store though? Will he ever come back?
Yeah, I don't know. He showed me a couple things he was looking at, and I'm like, hey, check, see if they got this. I was actually looking for. I had ordered a Miami Vice remix storyline with has zombies in it for a comic book, and I was looking for the a graphic novel for it. I mean the trade paperback. It's all of the comic books put together, and He felt he was going through the thing and it's empty. It's there, but it's empty. It's like I have to go back to Facebook or eBay and find it again. But there needs to be one of those for one of my favorite things is just the fan fiction. There's no stores for fan fiction because you just can't find that. So you're lucky you run into that every so once in a while. But. And we'll start back up here in a second. There we go.
It's a lot of fanzine writers.
Yeah, we do have quite a few here.
A lot of them.
Yep.
I'm reading the Battlestar Galactica stories. I just started reading that on Facebook. I'm like, oh boy.
yeah, it's great, isn't it? Chris McCauley wrote a couple, and they're like, ooh, I like Commander Kane as a Cylon. I'm okay with that because he died anyways. We'll go there
again. That again. Yeah, this is one of those recurring themes.
It's exactly. We need to write that, put it to bed because we know it's true, and we'll go from there.
But the Living Legend Part 2, it opens so many possibilities. There's not just one Tipsy. There's not just one.
No, he's dead. He's dead. He's now a Cylon. I'm okay with that. Now that the spin on it is in the story, Chris McCauley's story. The spin on it is he still has some of the memories from when he was a big leader. So
yeah,
to me he was reckless, and Adama did the right thing by grounding his butt. So
okay,
yeah, he was reckless. He put the whole fleet at risk. He was everybody loves him and everything else, but no, he was.
That doesn't mean he's dead.
He's a problem.
It's a possibility,
but he wanted to win. He wanted to win.
Yep, he was a problem. So, Cylons unite. We know that's going to be the truth because AI takes over anyways, right?
He was one of the guys who, in Star Trek, was then oh, Locutus of Borg, finally!
Finally, yes, exactly. Then they brought him back. I was like, come on, stop it. You can't do that.
I am Locutus.
This-
Remember that? Watch that series.
It's a great scene, no doubt. But
Yeah, we need to get we got to get our Star Trek update sometime this month.
Yes. I'm in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Who's next week?
All right,
Do we
cool.
know who we got next week?
Next week we have what's his name? The movie guy. He's gonna come on the 8th for exclusive of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot his name. I have it.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, let's hope there's some hope there, right? I mean, he hinted at some Battlestar stuff. Maybe that is the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we had enough bad news, so
Yeah.
it's time for some
Yeah,
good
and
news.
we did see a lot of people like, oh my gosh, we wouldn't want a reboot of the reboot anyways. It was horrible or whatever else. I get that some people didn't like the story, but to keep the fandom alive,
Everett Burrell's coming out.
Everett Burrell, that's it. Yeah, to keep the fandom alive, you have to have those stories come back every so once in a while. Otherwise, the
And even
fandom
if
will
it's a
age out.
controversial show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even if it's something that's not generally beloved,
Yeah, it's
it
not-
keeps the flame going. It keeps the discussion going. Some people are super pissed off about it. Other people like the new content. Others are kind of in between, but there is new stuff, right?
It keeps the name alive.
And if it's terrible, then there is the motivation. Well, can we improve on it?
How do-
Right? Can we make
Yeah,
a better?
what made
show?
it terrible? How can we fix it? Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
it keeps I believe it does keep the name alive. I mean, Dynamite had Battlestar Galactica comics for the longest time, and the remake with Ronald D. Moore, and we've had a couple, and some of the, I think, unsung heroes of the franchise was Caprica, which I loved. I thought it was a great storyline.
Yeah, I did too. I was so sad when this just fizzled away. It was like this stupid, we cut the season in half and this really short season. It's like, if you cut it further, you have like negative
Nothing.
episodes.
Yeah,
Like
negative.
what 2 and it's still 0.
Yep.
It was like the whole rollout was a disaster, but the content was great. It was a great origin story.
Yep.
And I would love for this to continue.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to happen, but
Yeah, well, but can it go somewhere else? That's the question. And, all right, so we're not gonna do the series. All right, so does that free up somebody that says, you know what, the series is dead, it's not going anywhere, we're not gonna remake it, whatever else. I own the IP. What am I gonna do with this?
I would play it as a video game.
Yep.
Just saying.
It's already
I'd
been a
play
video
it.
game. Yep. So why not? It's already been. I'm thinking. I think Chris McCauley, Dr. McCauley, was looking at bringing it back on a specific thing. So I think that's always a possibility. I have the emulator for that on my computer, and I suck at it. Computer game wise, that was ouch. I don't do that one well. Destiny, different story. I'm a Destiny fan, but but then a lot of these video games we just talked tonight. I know I'm going to extend this a little bit here because I'm going to go off a rail, but it's a lot of video games came to movies. So we had Halo, we had Tropical. Is it Tropical? That's one that they're looking to make. We had Fallout. Now we're looking at the one you talked to tonight. Badlands.
Yeah, Borderlands.
One of the other ones that came from the movies to the small screen was one of my favorites, and that was Defiance.
Oh
yeah.
Defiance on site. That was a great game as well as a great movie, a great show. But
yeah, both formats actually worked well. Yeah, no, I agree.
That one died.
Yeah, we
too.
see that more and more, that the cross incubation, and traditionally the movies went to the games, and then you watch the movie first, and then you play them.
Yeah,
Now
Star Wars
it's
has got
the other way
games,
around. But I don't care if it's a great story. I'll play it first and then I watch it, or vice versa, and then I read it. The order for me doesn't matter.
Yeah, stories. Then you've got it. Some of it migrates to, like, if you look at the Star Wars model, you've got games, you have cartoons, animated cartoons. You got the Bad Batch. You have back in the day it was. Oh, I'm gonna really date myself now. Ewoks.
Ewok Adventure.
Ewoks was a show or a cartoon.
The Clone Wars really kicked off Star Wars when they made the Clone Wars. That really kicked off the popularity. That really boom. So maybe something like that. I mean, maybe some type of storyline for Battlestar.
And if the IP is free, or is going to be cheap, or they're willing to let you have it for maybe we had talked, maybe they'll let us have it to use it for to make money for a charity instead of ourselves. I mean, I'm not looking to make money in some of the. I want to get the name out there. I want to get the ideas in my head. I would love to get out there. So
right.
Yeah. So if that comes to capabilities or availabilities, I'll jump on it. I'll jump on it in a heartbeat.
I think there's enough content, right? It just needs it just needs,
especially the first Battlestar. There's so much content that could be there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And I'm always frustrated that anything gets rehashed or redone with all the content that's out there. There's actually no reason to ever. I mean, I'm not naive, and I do understand the business reason why you do it. But it's from an artistic point of view, it's not necessary. There's so much new stuff at any given time. We could live off this and become fans of new things every single day.
There's definitely possible different abilities for a storyline from the beginning of Cylon War, the middle, bring new characters, bring new ships, bring new.
Remember, they said they were fighting a war for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a huge canvas to paint on.
Yeah. Well, let's hope we can get to that sooner or later, and hopefully somebody lets us pick it up, or we start writing our own stuff. But until then, I guess we're moving out of transmitter range, and we will have to pick it up again next Thursday. Thank you so much for coming by, Bert.
Thanks for having me on the show. Very much appreciated.
It's great.
Love
John,
it.
Thanks for
You're
your
working on a new book, Bert. We got any news? Quick news coming out
on what?
So there will be a couple of basically lore and background books this year, which means I was too slow to get a full new novel out this year. I got the audiobooks now, so for everything I have is available in audiobook, and I'm planning a whole trilogy. So for the first time, I'm planning 3 books instead of 1, and that actually turned out to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. So, but yeah, there is a lot of new stuff going on.
Awesome.
So you said you have audiobooks coming out? Hang on.
Oh, they're out. Yeah, everything I ever wrote, you can now listen to.
Is that on that's on what?
On Audible.
Audible?
Yep.
I am on Audible as we speak. I will be picking some up. Look at this. There we go. There we go. Just for those wanting to know, that got me excited, though. I saw Galacticide and I thought Galactica. Galactica.
It's so close, isn't it?
Galactica.
It's so close.
But
I do have intelligent machines, and some of them are really bad, so you should.
I'm going to work in there. So definitely, I'll pick up some of those on Audible as quickly as possible. I have some credits I need to use, and they're going to expire soon if I don't use them. So,
don't let them expire.
Yep. So I will jump on those in a heartbeat. So thanks so much for coming on. Thanks, John. Thanks everybody for coming on. And once again, we always appreciate everybody out there, because it is so important that you let your mind expand. You listen to some of these people and get inspired by what they do, and have the ability to an outlet, just some writing or games or art or whatever it may be. You have an outlet. We'd love to hear from you. Come on our show. Let's talk. and we'd love to have you there. So, anyways, as we always say, here's to all of you. Thanks for coming on board, and thank you for joining us. And fans for the fleet. I only have a little bit left too.
Fans for the fleet, guys.
Fans for the fleet. See you next week.
I'm morning low here.
Yeah, Thursday. I'll take care. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you.